Do you think there is a potential niche for modern, powerful, exclusively handheld system in today's market, or will it be the Switch 2 and various flavors of Steam Deck, ROG style devices, and streaming handhelds for years to come? Um, so, John, this is, I guess, is an interesting question here in that Sloth might be referring to some of the sort of handhelds of yore where, we saw some actual sort of really cutting edge stuff there. I mean, the PSP for its time was fantastic. Even the Game Boy, going back to when that was a thing, was fantastic. Vita, obviously, they really pushed the envelope there.
The Lynx,
I guess. The handheld PC Engine as well. That was quite the thing back in the day.
It's nuts. The GT.
Is there a potential niche here? I don't think we could ever go back to those days of Sony or specifically Sony producing a sort of offshoot handheld version of PlayStation. I mean, we've got the Portal. That's what we've got these days. It's a streaming device. I think this niche probably is going to be ROG style devices and Steam Deck, right?
Well, I think all of this stuff exists, and I think it's going to continue as it is. And here's what we got. Nintendo will continue to do the Switch, right? So that'll be the mass market, like big console manufacturer handheld thing that exists. I think that will continue. The ROG style, Steam Deck, the handheld PCs, I think this will continue. That's become very popular and more viable. Then there's the whole range of like the Ambernick and small emulation devices that exist. Those are also kind of fun and can be popular as well. And that's kind of carved out its own thing. And then there's something like the Evercade, which is around. And I actually think it's become kind of a pretty awesome little platform where they've got these little Evercade portables with interchangeable cartridges, and they've gone beyond just emulation. Now there's actually like real actual game ports being made for these things. Like indie games that have come out on, say, Steam are actually being made now really for the Evercade. We're also seeing, it's a mix of modern emulation stuff. They brought arcade emulation over, so there's actually arcade games on there now. They're just releasing the Duke Nukem stuff. So like Duke Nukem 1 and 2 with the Rigel engine was ported over to the Evercade. Wow. So you can play those in widescreen at 60 FPS now on a handheld from a cartridge, which I think that's really cool, having games like that. So they're veering into classic PC stuff now as well, and like making these like packaged like handheld versions. So I think that's a pretty cool little market on its own. It's not huge. It's not going to be big money Switch stuff, but I think it's a really cool little compelling device. So between all of those, I think that's where the handheld market is. And although we can't leave out phones, obviously a lot of games are played there as well. Mm-hmm. But because of that and the way it's shaken out over time, you're right. I don't think we'll ever go back to a point where Sony says, yeah, let's make a successor to the Vita or the PSP again.
And I think, the other thing about that device, and it's something which Switch taps into, is they're not necessarily, I mean, on the face of it, they do look like powerful devices. Well, the Vita did back in the day, you saw Uncharted running on it.
Yeah, sure.
But you actually dig deep into what the hardware is, and it's not actually, it's got to have decent battery life. And it is just basically down to the how great low-level access is to the GPU and the CPU, and of course the ingenuity of the developers in making this stuff possible. In terms of the sort of concept of a modern, powerful, exclusively handheld system, where it is ROG Ally and Steam Deck, I think. And when you look at the power consumption of those things, I mean, at full pelt, the Steam Deck is the LCD Steam Deck's, taking about 26 watts, which is going to be at least like double what the Switch 2 is going to be doing, I reckon. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of nuts, really. But I think that's the way it's going to be. I do like the fact that we do have this proliferation of handhelds now, all doing different things. We've got the streamers, we've got the Portal, we've got the Switch 2 coming.
Man, thinking back to the Vita though, do you remember, Rich, when they first revealed it as the NGP? There's several demos that there's video footage of still, where like companies were showing off Vita versions of games that didn't end up shipping. So Capcom showed off Lost Planet 2 running on the Vita. And I'm looking at the footage here again. You can see like pretty big cuts to the polygons, but it looks comparable. Konami also showed Metal Gear Solid 4 running real-time cutscenes on the Vita hardware. Although the frame rate was quite low, it was still
like the PS3 then.
Sure. 20 FPS cutscenes.
But Tish right there. That's a good one, Rich. You're absolutely right. So yes, it was running like the PS3 version. But yes, the early Vita stuff looked amazing, and it's a shame.
It did look amazing.
I think, man, Lost Planet 2 would have been perfect for the Vita because it's kind of that co-op action Monster Hunter-y kind of thing in a way. Would have been a good fit. I was thinking though, Sony wouldn't do this again, but there is actually still potential, I think, for Microsoft to do their own Xbox branded portable system. Not necessarily Series S, but something that but basically something to tap into Game Pass on the go. I feel like
they're going to rely on the cloud for it, though.
I think, unfortunately, you're right. It's probably still going to be cloud-based, which sucks, because the cloud sucks for most things, unless you have a really fast wired connection.
There is this running theory that the Series S is like a stalking horse for a future handheld, and I just don't see it.
But it probably won't happen, but I could see a business
2 nanometers
case for it. I mean,
I don't know.
They're in with the Surface stuff they've done before. I mean, they could make a cool looking little handheld that's plays Xbox stuff. Maybe.
Yeah, but I don't think they will. I just think it's too much of an investment, for limited returns.
That's probably true.
Yeah.